Welcome back to another episode of Franklinstein's Garage. I'm Louis Franklin, and today we're going to get back to work on this Oldsmobile 350 engine. Already put the heads back on and adjusted all the, they're already pre-adjusted. Got all the push rods back in, and we're going to put the oil pan back on because the JB weld and paint and everything is set up on it. And we're going to flip it back over, put the intake on, and we're going to finish putting it back together and see if we can't get it to run. So stay tuned. Already got the valley pan in, and yes, I put silicone behind that, and now I'm going to put some on the top side and put another dab on the inside of the china wall corners again, so we can put the intake back on. So here we go. Alright, she's all put back together, aside from the carburetor and the starter. So, yep, everything's sealed back up. I did actually get the distributor to break free, so now we can adjust time if need be. I had to replace some of the washers, and that one bolt that I had to weld another one onto to get out, I had to replace that bolt. Some of the washers were just so bad and crumbly like this one here, but that one decided to lose the end after I tightened it. No big deal. I think she's all sealed up. Real curious to see if it's going to start. I think it will, unless if it's low on compression, but I guess we'll find out. But next thing would be we're going to have to tear into the carburetor a little bit to see if it's gummed up. I'm sure it is. And tear into the starter to see if it needs cleaned up. So, alrighty. Okay, so the starter looks exactly how I thought it would on the inside. Absolutely garbage. I'm not even sure if I can clean it up and use it or not. I mean, it's real bad. It's full of sediment and rust. I had to beat that with a hammer to get it to move. The solenoid is stuck, so I can't get that out. Ended up breaking one of the bolts off. Well, two if you count the solenoid bolts, just because of how corroded they were. But I have a plan, and I don't know if it'll work or not. So, that is the 283 starter. And the nose cones are real similar. Similar, not the same, similar. So, but the obvious issue here is one is on one side and one's on the other. Just how they mount on the engine. One's on the passenger side, one's on the driver's side. So, we know this starter works. And I'm buying a new starter anyways for the 283 and the Impala. So we can try and take this nose cone off and put this one on and make one starter out of these two. I'd much rather do that than try and clean up that mess. I mean, I'm not sure you'd even get it to work. So I think this is much more worth my time to try and do this than try and clean that up. So let's try that. Well, I got the new starter back together. Kinda. Hey, if it works, was it really a dumb idea? Just like Derek says. Yeah, not getting that broken off piece of bolt out of there. So I improvised with zip ties, heavy duty ones. And I got one bolt holding it together. I drilled these out and put self-tappers in for the solenoid. Yeah, again, the very wrong thing to do, but I mean, if it starts it, it starts it. If not, we'll come up with something else. But that's pretty tight. I think it'll stay together long enough to start it. Maybe not. Who knows? Well, we'll see. Okay, starter is on. And I will take and try and put some extra support there so it don't torque itself apart. I mean, it's only relying on zip ties on this side, and that happens to be the side closest to the exhaust. So there's a good chance that will melt. But it's on there, and in case you're wondering, yes, I did count the teeth to make sure they are the same. And if you look closely, looks as though they will mesh up just fine. So, if you're in a pinch and need a starter for an Oldsmobile, but you have a small block Chevy starter, specifically a 283 one, because I think the ones for 350s are slightly different. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they are. Anyways, change the nose cone out, swap it over, and it should work. So, and, granted that you don't break off any bolts like I did, but I always say it was going to break off anyways, and I probably would have, but, the old starter, that one there, sat in the dirt for 30 years, so I can't really blame it. Lastly, I'm not even going to test the starter yet until I have it on the ground, but moving on to the carburetor situation. And I have tried every which way possible to get this thing to unseize itself. And it is seized right in the throttle blades itself, so I'm going to flip it back over and just let it soak for a good while longer in the homemade parts washer I made. Oh yeah, I haven't showed you guys that yet, but I will here. Just a sec, I'll show you. If we can't get this apart and the throttle blades freed up, then we will borrow the one off the Camaro if we can get this to crank over. If not, then there's no sense in doing that. But the one on the Camaro is a quadrajet also, so it would be a perfect fit, and it could use a good cleaning anyways. So yeah, let me show you the parts washer I made. So it's an old Jeep Cherokee gas tank, and it still had gas in it, but I'll add more. It's about as redneck as it gets. Here, we'll send that down in there, let them soak a little bit more. Yeah, soaking that bad gas. Alright, we'll leave that alone. And I could fill this up more with gas, and I thought about hooking up the fuel pump with a hose coming out here. That way you could spray it or whatnot, or just put something over it and let her gurgle in there. Keep cycling and feeding itself and bubbling up. It'll clean something. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. So. And not having much hope for this carburetor, guys. It's going to need a complete tear down and redo. Probably new components also, because even the rod for the accelerator pump is like really rusted up. It's just so bad to let stuff sit outside. But what do you do? Alright, moving on. Alright, got her down off the engine stand. Got all the spark plugs in it out of the 283. I put other ones in there just so no moisture gets in there temporarily, and we'll put these back in, but it is going to get a new set. Anyways, made this makeshift run stand, just temporary. And I've gone ahead and hooked up a battery, and I haven't made a jumper wire yet, and I haven't put a carburetor on it yet. What I'm planning on doing is running a jumper wire, and we'll just snort a little bit of ether or something in there to see if it'll bark off. And if as soon as we know it will, then we'll get a carburetor on it and hook some fuel up to it, and we'll see what happens. So, but real quick, I will show you that I couldn't help but test the starter, and it works. So, good old redneck ingenuity, making one good starter out of two. Well, and one was a way bad wrong starter. So, it'll work. And it's very poorly put together. Zip ties are holding a starter together, everyone. So, let's see if it'll actually start it. So, let me make a jumper wire and we'll shoot a little bit of ether down in there and see what happens. Stay tuned. Alright. Went ahead and hooked up a jumper wire to the battery. And let's see if she has spark. Alright, man. She's got good spark. Alright. Let's see if she barks off. Compression. Stay tuned.
Alright, Louie brought me in from cooking Easter food to see what's going on with this motor.
I'm excited. It's time to try this out. I gotta hook up my key again.
This is the 350 Oldsmobile.
Stand back, hon. I don't know what's gonna fly off. Call me a nerd, but I'm wearing some safety glasses this time. I don't know what the hell's gonna come flying off this damn thing.
Should I get? I don't have my phone to record on this side.
Alright. Again, we're just looking for quick little bottoms.
Just to get it to turn over so we know that it'll start, right?
Yeah.
That ether, that got
Okay.
my eyebrows here on the...
Alright.
Hold on.
You know, Mortsky says slingshot engaged. Diesel Creek says contact. What are we going to start saying? Ignition!
This.
Huh?
There's oil spilling out of the bottom.
Where? Oh, shit. God damn it. Oh, it's the oil filter.
Right here.
I should have known. Oh, wait. Maybe it's...
I can't tell.
Yeah, it's coming out the oil filter.
It just looks like goo.
Damn it.
Okay.
Well, we need a filter. But it's not lighting for some reason.
What did it squirt out? It must have a...
Show me where it's coming out. Look and see where it's coming out.
I'm back in. Yeah, it's from the top. Yeah, baby, but it's the top of the oil filter.
Oh, okay.
It must have...
All right.
It's right up here, and it must have squirted out, and
Yep.
that's why it's on the
She
oil
developed
pan.
well, at least we know she's got oil pressure. Still no lighty. Let me see if I can't hunt down an oil filter to put in that. The reason why I haven't taken that one off yet, is because I don't know if I have one. So
I know what would fit it.
I don't know.
Don't take it off any of the cars when you drive.
No. I'm gonna have to borrow the carb off the Camaro.
Oh, okay.
No big deal. All right, bear with me.
Okay, Louis tracked down an oil filter that seems to fit, right, babe?
Yep, got an oil filter, and it fit, you know, good enough for what we're dealing with here.
Where do you want me at, babe?
Right over there, back where Willie is.
Yeah, he keeps thinking I got snacks for him. I smell like
Okay.
all sorts of goodies right now.
Hook up my key again. Now, we did test this and it had sparks, so if it don't light off, that's not a good sign for compression. So,
Hold on. I don't have safety glasses on.
I know, but you're far enough back. I'm right here. I gotta.
I know.
Here we go. Ignition. Okay, didn't like that. Yep, got an oil filter, and it fit, you know, good enough for what we're dealing with here.
Where do you want me at, babe?
Right over there, back where Willie is.
Yeah, he keeps thinking I got snacks for him. I
Willie,
smell
okay.
like all sorts of goodies right now.
Hook up my key again. Now, we did test this and it had sparks, so if it don't light off, that's not a good sign for compression. So,
I don't have safety glasses on.
I know, but you're far enough back. I'm right here. I gotta.
I know.
Yes. Here we go. Ignition. Okay, didn't like that.
Willie, quit.
Check again for spark. Might have lost it. Who knows?
What do you need?
Nothing. I'm just checking again for spark. There's a chance we lost it.
Hey, please help me.
Buddy, you stay back over there for a minute.
If you know something, all it's not here.
Just what we want.
He's playing.
Oh, she's got good spark.
Okay.
Real good. Okay. So, good news.
Bobby, when we go inside, you're getting a bubble bath.
I don't know, guys. She could be low on compression. Who knows?
The thing was literally just laying in the grass for in the weeds for however long.
Yeah, it was quite a long time.
Oh, it's stuck in the dirt like that.
Okay, let's see what that does. Oh, she's trying.
Yeah.
At least the starter's working.
Oh, what? How did you get that? I thought it was crap.
Huh?
I wasn't out here. How'd you get a starter?
I made one out of two out of the 283 one.
Oh.
Alright, we need to charge the battery, and we'll let her sit a minute, and maybe she'll go. I think it's just the rings need work back in a little bit, and I think she'll take off. So let me get a different battery and we'll return.
Okay, stay tuned, guys.
Alright, I got the battery charged up a little bit. This time I'm going to add a little bit of gas. Oh, that's just what you want for it to spill. Oh.
What, it spilled? I can't see from this angle.
I'll sob that up a little bit, just so we don't get a burp snart out of the carburetor. We'll add a little Cosby. Perfect recipe. Now,
Explosion.
for an explosion. Now.
Smoking over here.
Huh?
It's smoking over here.
Yeah, I know. She's wanting to go. She's wanting to go.
I wish she would.
You roll this back a little bit.
No, you said some of those teeth were rotten, huh?
Yeah.
Get her some dentures, huh?
Yeah. Let's see what she'll do now. Come on now.
What's going on, honey?
She's not like it. Hang on. We are experimenting with some technological differences.
Wow.
Maybe the battery?
We just charged it.
No, I think we lost connection. Let's see. Come on now.
What's going on? She was wanting to earlier, and then now she's being really.
It's a very half-assed starter.
difficult.
Okay, all right, come on.
Trying to get where the starter teeth are catching the wow.
Maybe the battery?
We just charged it on my car.
I think we lost connection. Let's see. Come on now.
What is going on? She was wanting to earlier, and then now she's being really
It's a very half-assed starter.
difficult.
Okay, all right, come on.
I'm trying to get where the starter teeth are catching the
Come on.
is the connection not good on the battery? Maybe? Okay. I don't know.
Oh, I know what's going on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that went down in there.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Franklin Fence Garage. We did get the starter to start working again, but it's making some awful growling noises. It's Easter Sunday. I'm not going to work on it anymore today. Yeah. We're going to fill the cylinders up with oil and let them soak for a while, and I'm going to order a starter for this thing. So, we're going to take a little break on it, but we will be back onto it once we get a starter. And before we try to crank it again next time, I am going to put a carburetor on it. So I think that might have a lot to do with it. I mean, I've had engines bark off just by spraying some into the intake before, but I think it might be just that low on compression to where it needs that extra vacuum of the carburetor being on it. Yeah, so that's where we're at with it. It did try to start a couple times. It did try. But, oh well. We'll get it. We'll get it eventually. Till next time, like, comment, subscribe, Franklin Stein's Garage, and happy Easter, everyone.